my debate of the week, ladies and gentlemen. This debate of the week is going to only have two debates in it. The Money in the Bank briefcase, and is Rusev going to be rushed for Cena? Let's get the Money in the Bank briefcase over first. Look, you saw my Raw review. I felt that the Money in the Bank briefcase has become irrelevant because it's being joked out a lot. I mean, what did they do in this case with the Money in the Bank? Last week at SmackDown, I didn't watch it. Seth Rollins got his Money in the Bank briefcase stolen by Dean Ambrose. And what happened this week? He rigs up some type of slime that when the door opened up on the briefcase, Seth Rollins get messed in the face. Everyone's laughing about it. The crowd liked it, but let's be honest here. How far are they going to go with this feud? How far can they actually stretch it between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins before the briefcase has to be used by one of them? There must be a match. Look, when Chris Jericho was dealing with Dolph Ziggler, they had reached a point that Dolph Ziggler had to have a end of a career match with him and Chris Jericho. It had to happen. Some type of ending had to come to it. Right? For several other times in the Money in the Bank briefcase, not many, but a few, somebody had a chance to take that title away, well, basically that title shot away from somebody. And that's happened maybe one or two times. In this case, I really believe that that needs to happen. Maybe by Survivor Series. I doubt it's going to be a Hell in a Cell. That briefcase must be up for grabs between the one of the two guys. One of them has to have a match with the other to see who can get the briefcase. Because at this point, what is the point of Dean Ambrose continuing having a feud with Seth Rollins if he's getting over on him constantly? Even though Seth Rollins and the Authority did get something here, next time around, it's going to be even more substantial for Dean Ambrose. So, if they're not going to put that briefcase up for grabs for Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to fight over, this means nothing. But let's say they do, like I state, that they are going to give a chance that Dean Ambrose, or maybe, please, not John Cena, will get a chance to get that briefcase and try to use it. At this point, if they continue joking out the Money in the Bank, you see I'm frustrated about it because I really don't want to think about it being constantly joked out. It's supposed to be an opportunity, not a prop for a storyline. And every time when it's going to be cast in, it's a joke. Nothing ever happens. Because there's a good chance this could be nothing. And I know many people are going to say, dude, that's not going to happen. But it could. So you guys tell me below what you think about this. Do you believe this is going to stay a joke? Or do you believe they're actually going to let them fight over it? And I'm talking about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about will be Rusev. And I'll probably leave this in my title. Is Rusev going to be rushed for John Cena? Let's see it in this respect. Rusev has gone up against many people. He has gone up against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's gone up against Sergeant Slaughter. He's gone up against Jack Swagger. He's gone up against now Mark Henry. And now he's dealing with Big Show. And I know there's been more people in between that, like a Kofi Kingston and a few others. But I'm just focusing on each and every one that has been the most relevant. And in this case, Rusev is being built very well. He's going to become a monster heel. But does this mean they won't try and throw John Cena at him eventually? You know this is going to happen. Let's look at history, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the Nexus. Look how powerful they were. When they first showed up, they were dominant. Then they dealt with John Cena. And piece at a time, the Nexus just fell apart. Until it was Bad News Barrett. Wade Barrett, who seemed to be the most polished amongst all of them. And he gets buried for years because of it. Let's be honest here. They had something with him, and they buried him with John Cena. Let's look at Ryback as a person we always love to talk about. Feed me more. A monster face run. He was so monstrous. But then they decided to turn him heel and put him against John Cena, and he got buried. And they rushed it on top of that. Instead of letting him build up to being a heel, they just threw him as a heel with no time to build a character, no time to build a gimmick with that character, and John Cena completely destroyed him until now he's working with, I don't even want to call the name of Curtis Axel and Ryback. I'm not doing it. But you get my point. Now we got Rusev. Now you could also say that Seth Rollins is going to reach the point as a Ryback, that they're going to throw him at John Cena enough that he'll become irrelevant, and probably will. But do you believe a Rusev, who is even more over as a heel than a Seth Rollins? Sorry for the noise. I've been having a lot of noise in my street lately because I like to ride around the ATVs. But essentially speaking, how long do you think it's going to be before Rusev is thrown at John Cena? Now I had to think about this very thoroughly. My idea is this. Depending on how they're going to package this with Big Show. If he beats Big Show by Hell in a Cell, there's not that many people left for him to deal with. Who do you think Rusev can deal with next? After Big Show, he's one of the largest guys around. Rusev has already taken out the Great Khali. The only person I consider next for him to take on is Sheamus. For the simple reason the US Championship will be an ironic title for Rusev to have, saying that only a Soviet Union citizen can truly represent the US Championship as the most dominant person. That would be the best person for him to go after first. That's relevant. By wearing that title, he will put so much heat on himself that will give him something very strong to build up to. And then you could say he goes after the IC title after that. Or maybe he could unify the titles. I don't believe that's going to happen, but that could happen. If everything, let's say if they do it right. They let Rusev go after the US title, have it for a couple of months. By TLC, he deals with the IC champ, whoever it is, gets that title, has both titles, let them go because maybe something was done, it doesn't matter, or keep them. I would rather have him keep them and then deal with a John Cena then. Unifying the two titles into something else. I know that doesn't sound right, but what are you doing with the IC and US titles anyway? Having the WWE unifying title of the IC and US Championship, you could do it. You can call it something, I don't care. You can call it the World Heavyweight Championship if you want. I don't care. Well, actually not the World Heavyweight Championship, we already got that. But you get my point. Rusev has to be built properly to give him something interesting. You could have something great by the time of Royal Rumble. He could have the US Championship, lose it, go into the Royal Rumble, then win the Royal Rumble, and has his shot at WrestleMania. You could do that, ladies and gentlemen. You could actually do something like that. So by the time WrestleMania comes down, if John Cena, which I wish he wouldn't, has the title, he could actually have a real fight with Rusev. But that's the best case scenario. That's built over an 8 to a 9 month period. I don't see that happening. This is what I believe might happen. You guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong, or have your own opinion about it. Rusev deals with Big Show. Big Show gets destroyed by Hell in a Cell. Rusev deals with Big Show and Mark Henry. He takes them both on and beats them both up to Survivor Series. Then you have John Cena dealing with Rusev by TLC. And then finally actually having a match at Royal Rumble. And then John Cena jobs his ass out. And I'm not talking about John Cena losing. I'm talking about Rusev being jobbed out, win a couple of times, job out, job out, job out, until he goes from here, gone. Just like a Bray Wyatt is. Just like a, well, let's be honest, just like a Ryback. Just like a Barrett. All those people that could have had something by now will be buried by John Cena by the beginning of next year, going into possibly Elimination Chamber. This is the worst case scenario that the WWE may pull. I'm really, really hoping they don't. I'm hoping they let Rusev get the US Championship, build up into it, let him go and win the Royal Rumble, and then go to WrestleMania, and then he could deal with a John Cena. But that's just my point of view. But you guys tell me below. And I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Please tell me below how you feel. Tell me, does that make any sense about Rusev being rushed? Or that the Money in the Bank is being turned into a joke? Have a good day. See ya!